Hello everyone, today we'll reveal the secrets of the war. Stay calm or chaos will ensue. Sure enough, the professor was affected. This is medicine's reverse universe. Errors are as rare as a lottery win. Everyone was on edge. Luckily, the professor stopped the bleed, and surgery reached crucial shunting and suturing, leveling up. At that moment, the blood pressure monitor plummeted below 60 like a roller coaster, every second a life or death race. At the critical moment, Thomas' secret weapon worked, suturing speed soared. Despite another bleed, no worries. Professor used his new suturing skills to successfully stitch up the blood vessels, but the surgery challenges were far from over. Because the baby's blood vessels were as thin as the professor had to use his powers to see if blood flowed into pulmonary vessels with the hole or praying it wouldn't fail. Soon after, the blood pressure gradually rose, and Alan's skin went from blue Spider-Man to a rosy little egg. This marked the first successful open-heart surgery in human history. Who loved the professor more this time? Unfortunately, all the flowers and applause went to the professor, and even during group photos, Thomas was left to play the invisible man. He felt like a forgotten leaf, and remarkably, not a word about Thomas was mentioned in the surgery report. Professor, spotlighted again, boasted of the team's success, naming Helen and assistants but omitting Thomas. Thomas, now serving like a waiter, quietly hoped to hear his name, but only a melancholic tune reached his ears. He finally left the banquet hall in despair, down a dark street. The night as heavy as his heart's gloom. The next day, he handed in his resignation to the professor, and the plot took a sharp turn. Thus, Thomas once again made the decision to leave, directing his attention to Morgan University, proclaiming that he would take an exam to earn some college credits. He said he could graduate quickly, rushing to medical school, but reality served him a swift sorry. But by the rules, he had to follow the same old school routine to get that graduation certificate. Though Thomas fought hard against the cold hard rules, dreams turned into delicate bubbles. Under the pressure of life, Thomas switched to pharmaceutical sales, which wasn't his aim but unexpectedly opened a new chapter. One day, a client recognized Thomas, who was famous in the black medical community. To support this great contributor, many customers placed orders, and his income skyrocketed, living his life like a rocket. In just 3 years, Thomas bought a car and a house, but the emptiness inside left him feeling blue. His lifelong medical dream persisted. Encouraged by his wife, he bravely sought out the professor. Thomas confessed his love for medicine, wanting to return to work, feeling reborn as if shedding all his exhaustion. Setting aside old grudges, the pair teamed up again in medicine to face tasks. Their persistent exploration, they conquered countless medical challenges, bringing hope and light to numerous patients. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, their collaboration spanned 34 fruitful seasons. Thomas' hair turned frosty at the tips, and the professor's health had also waned. The wheelchair became his new companion. The corridor wall's professor portrait exudes gallantry, grandeur, and past glory. The professor's ambitions had been fulfilled, yet a regret lingered in his heart, not being able to grant Thomas the honors he deserved. Suddenly, the professor rose, refused Thomas' help, stumbled to the door, leaving a glorious figure. Thomas never thought this would be the professor's last silhouette. The wheel of fate turned, and he remained blissfully unaware. Dr. Helen informed Thomas that the professor had passed peacefully in his sleep. The news hit him like a boulder, leaving him instantly drained of strength. Thomas slumped helplessly on the roadside. That year, something monumental happened. Martin Luther King Jr. was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. His leadership in the civil rights movement made strides toward racial equality. For Thomas, it was like the sun breaking through the cloud. At that very moment, years of relentless effort finally yielded rewards. His hard work was at last acknowledged, and the applause he had always dreamed of finally resounded for him. That year, Dr. Helen also told Thomas about the professor's final act, which turned out to be such a legendary tale. Subtitle: News of Martin Luther King Jr.'s Nobel Peace Prize made Thomas feel silently powerful mid-chatter, unstoppable. Also that year, something significant happened. The applause he had longed for finally rang out for him. Standing in the spotlight, Thomas felt panic and pride. 40 years ago, he put down his tools, never expecting this day. He received an honorary doctorate, a bona fide doctor he became, thanking everyone who supported him, especially the departed mentor. Suddenly, a surprise appeared on stage. As the curtain lifted, Thomas' portrait shone radiantly. From now on, this dazzling portrait would guard him all around. He glanced at the distinguished doctors, then at his own portrait, tears flooding as 40 years' worth burst through barriers at this moment. Film ends here. Vivian Thomas died peacefully in 1985, aged 75, leaving this legend in medical history. In his early years, his medical dreams were shackled by poverty, but genius cannot be buried. Persistence always brings rewards. He met his mentor, one black, one white, forging a harmonious bond, like scalpel and paper. Thomas, grounded, never gave up dreams and aspirations despite life's hardships.